What's up guys, Silver here with another Halo Master Chief Collection Achievement Guide. This time we're doing Part 7 of our Halo 4 LASO run. This is the Mission Composer. Start this up, you'll start off on the floor. You'll slowly get up. You want to make your way to the right side of this room as you get up. And you can see there's a pistol on the ground, so grab that ammo. We'll turn to the left and keep going in this direction. There's going to be a Marine that dies here as this door opens up, and he's fighting two Jackals. So the Jackals and the Marine both die. So we're going to grab the additional pistol ammo and also exchange your assault rifle for that sticky detonator that he was using. So we have a sticky detonator now. Grab these plasma grenades by this dead grunt, and we have a full pistol as well. As this door opens up, there's a Jackal that is tearing through some of these humans right in front of you. So just allow that to happen. Wait for him to kind of resume his normal AI. He'll stand up straight and you could easily headshot him. Then turn to the right, there's going to be some grunts and Jackals over there. You could headshot those guys as well. And then in the distance you could see one Jackal being dropped off by that Phantom and also two grunts. You want to pick those guys off as well so you don't have to deal with them later. So we'll try to take those guys out, and then we want to slowly kind of poke our heads out to take out any of the remainders on the right side. You could always go over here by these cowering scientists. It's kind of another area where you could hide and retreat to. You have a little more room over here to work with. That door that we entered this area from actually closes behind you, so you could get stuck there with not much cover, but there's a lot more cover over here. For these two Jackals with shields, if you can't take them out with headshots, if they put their shield up, you could always wait for them to put it back down before headshotting them, or you could use the sticky detonator, just kind of stick them right on the shield and blow it up. That will take them out. And then for the second one over here, I just shoot through the railing there. And then we're going to go up to these stairs and jump onto the railing on the left here, and we're just going to run along, sprint, and jump across the gap here. And then we're going to land over here. You want to go as fast as you can at this point to this console over here. Activate that, and then you want to use this console that you just activated for cover, because there's going to be a grunt on a turret on the side of this Phantom that comes in, so just kind of duck behind this until you can't anymore. And then you can see right as he came into view, I stuck the side of the Phantom with a sticky detonator and blew it up, so that blew up the grunt on the turret, and then we could retreat back into this building over here. Grab the DMR off the crates here on the right, and then we're going to go up the stairs in here, and we're going to see another DMR, so we could actually grab this as well. Reload this DMR because it's not fully reloaded when you grab it, and then we're going to kind of use this box to position towards the top of the stairs here. This is going to provide us a little bit of cover. There's going to be 4 elites that come out of that dropship that we have to deal with, and we're going to just backsmack all of them. 2 are wielding energy swords, and they're actually really easy to deal with. When they get close to you and are about to slice towards you, you just kind of move to the left side, move to their sword side, wrap up around behind them, and backsmack them. It's very easy. One is a storm rifle, and as he came up the stairs, you could see he was shooting at me. That's why we put that box there, so we could block most of those shots. And then when he gets to the top, we could just wrap around behind him and backsmack him. We have the second sword guy here, so just dodge to his sword side and then backsmack him. And then we're going to deal with this last guy who has a concussion rifle, and we want to actually grab his concussion rifle. So we'll backsmack him. We're going to get in a dance with this guy. You obviously want to backsmack him as quickly as possible, but sometimes you get in this scenario where he's kind of turning as you're turning around him, which is fine as long as you keep smacking him. That will obviously keep your shield up. So every time he smacks you and gets your shield down, you will obviously be returning the favor and bringing your shield right back up. Now we'll exchange one of our weapons for the concussion rifle. So we have a concussion rifle now, and we have the DMR we picked up in this room. There's also a third DMR up on the crates over here at the top level, so we're going to grab this. So we have a full DMR at this point, and we have a concussion rifle. We're going to go down here towards this door that's going to open up, and by doing this, we're going to get a checkpoint, but we're going to backtrack as soon as we see that door start opening. We're going to head over to the forklift, and you can see there are 2 indents on each prong of the forklift. We're going to crouch and position our left foot so it is barely hiding the bottom indent on the left prong. Then we're going to uncrouch and look up and look diagonally across the forklift to the top right, and you can see what looks like a little hook on that part of the forklift. I like to line up my reticle with the curve of that hook. Then we're going to take out our concussion rifle, and without moving the reticle at all, we're going to fire once. That will propel us upwards to the top of the map, and you want to land about here where I'm landing. I'm basically landing on something above the pipe I'm looking down at, but I'll show it again in slow motion here. So we shoot the forklift, which sends us up, and then we turn around and we can see where we're landing, which is on that structure right above this big pipe here. So aim for that pipe, and we're going to jump down to it. You can see I almost fell off to the left side, so jump down towards the center, and then we're going to jump down right on top of this wall here. You want to jump up and forward to clear some invisible geometry there, but we're going to fall down and then follow this path to this door. We've skipped a decent segment there, and now we were on to the next section where we're going to fight some hunters. So there are some items we want to grab before we go into that room with the hunters. You can see up against the crate next to this cowering scientist, there is a thruster pack, and you can see what armor ability you have if you hold back on a controller or if you hold tab on a keyboard. And also there's a shotgun leaning up against this. So we're going to juggle these weapons into the room here, because once we enter this room, the door locks behind us, and we want the DMR and the concussion rifle for later in the mission. So don't use any of that. We're just going to use the shotgun. We're going to get behind these hunters, and we're going to shoot them in the low back back. You can see they don't have much armor there. That is their weak point, so just lay into them. You can see they're kind of slow and lumbering, so you can sidestep to the left or the right depending on how they're rotating. And obviously, if you need to make your way out of there real quick, you got the thruster pack to do so. More shotgun ammo leaning up against the lockers over here in the corner of this room, and we're going to take on the second hunter now, and we should be able to take him out in the exact same way. If you do find that you've taken damage, you'll be able to get your shield back by just running up to them and smacking them in the back in between shotgun blasts. So feel free to do that if you feel like you may have taken damage, and then that way you could go into the next section with full health and full shield. And then we will make sure to grab the DMR that we left in the corner of the room once we kill this second hunter. So we'll go over there now, grab that. So we have a DMR again and a concussion rifle. Remember to not use the concussion rifle because we're going to use that for some specific tricks later on. So just go up ahead here now. There's going to be a nav point that pops up indicating you need to go up there and activate that switch, and it will trigger a mid-mission cutscene, so we'll skip that. I'm going to speed this part up coming out of the cutscene because there are no enemies for a while. In my previous LASO guide, I actually showed how to get out of the map at this point and then skip ahead a little bit and avoid some of these hallways. But the hallways themselves aren't that tough, so I don't think it's worth learning this trick if you don't already know it. If you know it, feel free to use it, but I'm going to just show you how to go through these hallways without the trick. So we're going to get out of the map soon enough in a much easier way, but as far as this part goes, we're just going to headshot these enemies. As you can see, they're just jackals and grunts for the most part, so we're just going to slowly go through these hallways and pick these guys off. Pretty soon we will come across one elite, so we're going to kill all the enemies except for the elite. That usually gets the elite to charge your position, which is actually good because we could just hide behind a box and wait for him to come to us, and then we could backsmack him or get into one of those melee battles where we're circling around each other and smacking each other. And that's actually coming up right here. There are some grunts in this hallway to my right along with that elite that I was talking about, so we're just going to slowly move around the edges here so we could check all the corners before moving forward. We've got a couple grunts there. They're usually hanging out. I'm just checking that corner to the right. And now towards the left, there's going to be a couple grunts as well. There's a turret set up too, so just pick off that grunt. And remember, when you're shooting a grunt off a turret, aim a little to the left or the right because there is that shielding component that kind of protects the center of the face of the grunt, so you got to shoot him to the left or the right side of the head. But once everyone else was dead, that elite came at us, like I mentioned. I hid behind that box for cover until he was close, and then we could backsmack him. Move to the end of the hall and look down at the middle of the last floor panel. Jump up and backwards and immediately shoot a concussion rifle round to propel you up through the ceiling and out of the map. Then follow this path as best as you can. There are some invisible objects out here, so you can't really just walk straight forward. You have to jump over a bunch of things that are invisible, so just do that as you need to. You may get knocked back a little bit, but just keep moving forward. And we turned into the right here at this point, and you want to move forward along the left side. We want to do that until we hit the load zone here. You're going to see more hallways pop into existence right there, so that's what we want to hit right there for that load zone. So now we could just move forward in this direction, ignoring what we just popped into existence, and just follow this path, and this will all of a sudden warp you into this part of the mission. So we've skipped ahead a significant amount, and we are going to backsmack that elite, take out these couple jackals that are in the area, with some headshots that are going to be fighting some Marines over there on the left side. So they're kind of distracted, making it a little easier for us. And then we're going to deal with that elite kind of at the end of the hallway in a second, once we clear out these little minions here. So we're going to finish off this jackal, perhaps. There we go. And then we have that elite kind of in the back there. I would like for him to charge our position, but he's kind of hanging back. But instead of running directly at him, we're going to go to the right, and there's a little maintenance hallway here, so we could get close to him before he actually has a chance to shoot at us or anything, and then we could wrap up around behind him and smack him in the back. At that point, you want to retreat because there are a couple of grunts in the next section that are probably now suicide grunts, so just back away until they come around the corner, then you could headshot them easily and take them out from a distance where there's no risk of you blowing up with them. So as we come up this ramp, we're going to look into the right, and you can see there's the left side of a white door frame. We're going to sprint into that corner where the door frame is and then look straight down while the door frame is directly to our right. We want to jump up while moving diagonally to the right and then shoot the concussion rifle right after jumping to get us to concussion rifle jump up out of the map again. And we've essentially concussion rifle jumped onto that white door frame that we were looking at earlier. So from here, we're going to jump up over to the left, and then we'll jump up and continue on to the next part of the mission here, totally skipping this room and all the encounters that inhabit it. So just run along, and remember that there are some invisible barriers outside here, so you're going to have to jump over a bunch of stuff. But get on top of this hallway now, and we're going to sprint forward. Sometimes you warp down into this hallway, but sometimes it actually doesn't happen, so you're going to have to go backwards at this point if that doesn't happen. And you're going to see that all the stuff behind you has now despawned because it actually spawned in additional stuff forward ahead of you, but it despawned stuff behind you. So we're going to go to the end of this hallway, and all you have to do is just kind of slowly inch your way down towards the end of the hallway, and it will slide you back into the map here, and then you could sprint ahead to this next section. We're going to sprint right about now and come up behind this invisible elite that's at the console in the middle there, and then there's another one off to the side, so we're going to quickly move over and smack this guy as well. Sometimes you get the back smack on him, but we're just dancing with this guy at this point, which is fine. We're keeping our shield up by smacking him repeatedly, and now we finally land the back smack with the animation here for style points. Insert Cortana's chip into the defense grid, and then we're going to turn around. There's going to be an ammo crate in the back here on the left side, so grab that. There's going to be DMR ammo in there, so we have full DMR at this point, and we have a concussion rifle that we're not really going to use anymore, but we want that DMR full, so grab that, and then we're going to go back, grab Cortana once she's done in here, and then we're going to turn to the left and continue on to the next part of the mission. We're getting towards the end here. As we go through these halls, there's going to be 3 enemies. 2 are going to be running away from us at first, and then the other one in the distance is going to be facing us. So you can see he has a carbine, so I kill him first. He is a jackal with a carbine, and then I'm just going to wait for the other 2 to turn around. Instead of risking running around behind those guys and backsmacking them, and then having them turn on me and try to stick me with grenades or something, and then have them all start shooting at me, just take them out from afar. You don't want to get any closer than you need to. Then this door will open up, and there's going to be a bunch of grunts and jackals and a couple of elites as well. So we want to pick all these guys off, as many as we can with headshots from the safety of this hallway. And then eventually they're going to run away and be kind of at the end of that hallway that they're in. So we have to kind of go up closer to them eventually. So we'll do that as we need to, but we want to take out as many from this distance as we can before we close in on them. So we're moving in now, and you can come at them from the right side or the left side. I'm going to show you multiple ways to come at these guys. Kind of change your angles a little bit in case they're not moving around in a way that you would like. So you could go up the stairs here and then just kind of move this box so you have a little bit of cover over here while you're shooting at them. You could duck behind this while you're trying to pick off the jackals and the grunts. We're saving the elites for last, obviously, because they're easier to take out when they're by themselves. We could also position ourselves on the left side of the door frame. You can see we're on the right side at this point trying to shoot in from this angle, but I can't really see anything good right now. You can see there's only 2 elites in my field of view, and all the other guys are hiding on the right side, more towards the right than I could see. So I'm going to reposition at this point. We could go down here again, and you could go on top of these boxes, and we're going to sprint and jump up over the railing here. And as a bonus for coming to the left side, there's some more DMR ammo leaning up against the left door frame right there. So grab that if you need it. Even if you don't need it, might as well have more. I pretty quickly retreated there. You don't want to spend too much time on the left side because there's no real room to maneuver over there. So you could always just kind of go up the stairway a little bit here and try to get a quick headshot. Once you get enough of these enemies dead, one of the elites will turn into a sword elite, which is good because we know how easy those guys are to deal with. But you can see this elite is charging my position, and if you actually go under the stairs here, you got to crouch to get under here, but crouch and go under here, you could smack the elites as they go up and down the stairs. So you could kind of punch through the stairway, and that will connect with them, and you can get your shield back that way. So that is a very good way to do that. It's also a very good way to actually straight up kill them. So if you're able to time it where you smack them as they're coming down the stairs, you can kind of smack them in the back of the heel, and that will count as a back smack and kill them in one hit. So we're going to try to do that here. It's easier to kill them this way if you have your volume cranked up, or especially if you have a really good headset where you could actually tell where enemies are based on the sounds they're making. You could tell if they're behind you to the left or behind you to the right, or how far away they are. So if you have a crappy headset, it'll probably be tougher for you to nail this timing, but we could always just deal with this sword elite guy the way we normally would with a regular sword elite, which is kind of just get him to chase you, and then step to the side and let him pass you, and then smack him in the back. But watch out for those grenades coming in. He will still do that on occasion, so get him to run at you, sidestep, and smack him in the back. There we go. And then we just got a straggler suicide grunt here, so we'll take him out. If the other elite decided to not charge and he stayed at the end of the hallway, you could just use the cover, use the boxes to close the gap. I think the reason he did charge me is because I started throwing grenades to try to move the enemies around, and he did not like that, so he followed me back to the stairs. But that was a bad idea on his part. We took him out. Anyway, we're in the next and the final section of this mission, which is the big mantis fight. So at first, I don't like to get in the mantis right away. I like to pick off all of the grunts that I can with my DMR, because a lot of them have fuel rods down there. So I just poke my head out so I could see 1 or 2 of them at a time, and I pick them off that way instead of getting in the mantis, because I found sometimes when I get in the mantis, they just unload on me if they're within view of me, and there's no way you could dodge or get out of the way because it takes a while for you to actually finish the animation of getting up into the mantis and then finally being able to move. So you're basically a sitting duck for like 5 seconds while getting to the mantis. So for that reason, I like to pick off all of these fuel rod grunts with the DMR so then I could safely get into the mantis without having to worry about that nonsense. So we're going to take these guys out. There's also a couple jackals down there, as you can see. Some have carbines, some have beam rifles, so take those guys out for sure. And then it looks pretty clean down there. We'll hop into this mantis. And we could also grab the Spartan laser down below, which I'll show you shortly. It's actually down where the grunts were, so we're going to hop into the mantis first because there is now a ghost trying to harass us, really succeeding in harassing us from the right side. So we're going to take him out with our chain gun. We have two guns. Obviously, we have the missile pods on our left hand, and we have the chain gun on the right side. So I tend to stick to just the chain gun for the most part, unless I really need to damage some enemies quickly, and then I start firing missiles as well. So we're going to take all the enemies out that we can, and then we could go down and grab that Spartan laser. You want to be aware of Cortana. Just kind of listen in because she will let you know when additional waves of enemies are coming in. So that's good to know. You always want to know when you have to back up or be concerned that more enemies are about to be inbound. So you can see I grabbed the laser there. It's not 100% necessary. I wouldn't recommend it if you're not familiar with the waves and who's coming when, because you don't want to get stuck out there and all of a sudden get a crappy checkpoint or something and not be in your mantis and be in the middle of a battlefield with no shield. But we have the laser. Again, you don't need it, but I'm going to go back here and wait for all the phantoms to leave. Whenever there's phantoms coming in and dropping off enemies, just always go back to that corner where I just was and just kind of stand there until they are all gone. And that makes it just way easier because there's not 3 turrets per phantom firing at you. So now we just have the ground forces that were deployed by the phantoms to deal with here. There's going to be a couple ghosts. There's going to be a wraith towards the right side. There's also going to be a couple elites with fuel rods. So we're going to want to take those guys out. Just stay in this general area and wait for them to come to you. That way you don't get overwhelmed, you don't get surrounded. We could always go back into that corner we were hiding in when we were waiting for the phantoms to leave, and that way we could get our shield back up if we're ever in danger of taking too much damage. The good thing about the Black Eye Skull in this game is it affects your shields, which we don't like, but it doesn't affect the shields of the Mantis. The Mantis shields will still recharge even though the Black Eye Skull is on, so that's good news. So we're going to just keep firing at these guys. You want to single them out. You don't want to ever take on all the enemies at once. So try to pick them off as they kind of stray away from the pack. Find the weak one in the pack, the one that's kind of straying away from the herd, and then take that one out. And obviously we could keep our distance. We have infinite ammo, so even though we're not as accurate from far away with our bullets, we don't have to worry about running out of ammo. So keep your distance, and that will help you keep your Mantis healthier. And you can see what I was just showing on the right side of this platform that I'm standing on and kind of using as a base of operation. There is nothing. So if you just step off the right side of this platform, you are going to fall to your death. So do not do that. Just walk down the ramp here nice and easily onto this solid land, because you're just going to fall into outer space if you walk towards the right side and fall off the platform. So be aware of that. But you can see I left my base of operation that I like to just hang out in because there were no more enemies coming my way. They were kind of just standing around. So when that happens, you sometimes have to go out a little bit to pick off some enemies, and that will get the next wave of enemies to spawn in. So that's what I did there. I had to move out and take out one of those elites that had the fuel rods that I was talking about. So we killed one, so there must be another fuel rod wielding elite somewhere further into the map. So I'm going to leave that alone for now. We're going back to our base of operation that we're going to continue just kind of hanging out in. This next wave of enemies is actually just Banshees, which Cortana will let you know because she'll just say Banshees. So that's a good indicator that Banshees are coming in. So there are 6 Banshees that come in, and you could actually take them out with the Spartan laser. This is why I picked up the Spartan laser, so we could kind of shoot these guys down from afar without risking the health of our Mantis. We could keep our Mantis healthy and take these guys out. Hopefully take out 4 of them, or maybe more if you're going to line a couple up back to back. You could take out more than one. But again, this is totally optional. You don't need to pick up the Spartan laser and take these guys out in this manner. You could always just use the Mantis, and if we were going to use the Mantis, which I'll actually show you how to take them out, a few of them later with the Mantis in the method I would recommend. But you basically just hang out here and wait for one Banshee to come at you at a time. And when they kind of drive straight at you, they're very easy to kill with the chain gun and a couple of those missile pods. But it looks like since I took out those Banshees pretty quickly and efficiently and on the periphery of the map, that I actually spawned in the next wave a little early so you could see some phantoms coming in. So I was eager to get back in the Mantis and get back to work, but now I'm going to hide like a coward in the corner and just wait here for a minute or so, however long it takes, for the phantoms to peace out, and then I could peace back in myself. So I skipped ahead a little bit there. The phantoms have gone, and now we could just focus on killing any of the remaining enemies. You could actually see the nav point has popped up, so once that last wave comes in, they will drop off enemies, but you could actually just go to the door to get to the end of the mission and just finish it with a bunch of enemies still alive out here. So I'm just going to pick off some enemies just to make it safer to go over there. You don't want to just sprint across the map and then just get Banshee bombed or something. So this is the method that I was talking about. You just kind of stand over here to take out these Banshees, and as you can see, eventually one of them will peel off the formation and just kind of fly towards you, and you could easily sidestep most of the damage they're dishing out, and then you could just lay into them with the chain gun, and they just drive right into the bullets basically. And same with the missile pod. Shoot a couple missile pods their way. They'll fly right into it most likely, and even if they don't, if they're pulling up and away from your chain gun, that means they can no longer shoot at you, so you could just kind of shoot them in the sides, and they will blow up very quickly. So we're going to head over here. Sometimes there's a bunch of grunts over here that get dropped off. Sometimes they just end up killing themselves or like dying in some manner. So you might see a bunch of grunt corpses over here, and you might see a bunch of grunts that are still alive over here. So it's kind of random. Not sure why that happens sometimes and not others, but you can see most of the time there will be a wraith over here that's stuck, so it'll just be sitting there. So make sure you take that out from a distance, because even though it's stuck, it could still shoot at you, and if you get right in front of it, it could still lob a wraith mortar. And the most dangerous thing about the wraith really is the gunner on the front could still shoot you pretty much from any angle in front of the wraith there, so he's going to lay into you if you kind of waltz up towards it, not realizing it's still alive. So definitely take that out from afar. Sometimes it'll actually get unstuck. It could actually start moving around like a normal wraith again. Most of the time it does get stuck though and doesn't get out, but obviously don't give it any more time to become unstuck. Kill it right away as fast as you can once you get over here. You can see I'm being pretty cautious, just kind of skirting around the edge of the map rather than walking straight through it. When you walk straight through the map, obviously you're more susceptible to being surrounded, which is not good. So I kind of just skirted along the edge and slowly cleared out any enemies I happened upon, but we're pretty much done here. We're going to go through this doorway. We'll get into this room and insert Cortana into the main computer in the middle of this room, and then we're going to turn around and basically stare at this switch on the side of the door that we entered this room from, and you have to wait here for over a minute and a half before you're actually able to hit this switch and finish the mission. A speedrunner's nightmare. But that's the end of the mission. You'll get a cutscene. Sit back and enjoy the composer going all Raiders of the Lost Ark on these eggheads, and I'll see you for the final mission of Halo 4 Midnight. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found that video helpful, be sure to click on the scorpion icon to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. You could also check out some related guides by clicking on the videos on screen, and you could find links in the description for other social media links of mine. Stay tuned for more Halo guides, and I'll see you in the next one.